Good morning. Welcome back. Today I thought we would start. Let's try an unboxing. This is the May 2022 ArtSnacks Plus box, which I did purchase myself. I don't mind the dirty desk. We had an unfortunate accident involving a small child and 3 bottles of nail polish. It's a work in progress. So let's get started. Now, I did order this specifically because I got an email. They give you little previews when you've subscribed before and you get their emails. So I do know one of the things that's in here today. But let's start with the paper. Out of the way. This is Graphics Aquapad. Okay, so it's watercolor paper. 220 GSM. %% cellulose. Okay, so that doesn't, and obviously that means there's no cotton in the paper. Don't drop the knives. I believe cellulose is wood pulp. I don't pay enough attention to the paper that I use when I paint, so. That's got a nice sound to it, though. We could do that warbly sound again. That was really nice. Okay. So we've got the paper. Just stick that off to the side. We can test things as we open them. Got our candy. Now these I have had before. This is what got me wanting to order this box again. When I got the email, this was the previewed item. These were the first watercolor sheets that I ever used. And I got them in I had subscribed to several art boxes at the time, so I want to say it was ArtSnacks, but I can't confirm that I had gotten them from an ArtSnacks box. These are the Viviva color sheets. These are actually really cool because you can use them like paint, and we'll swatch all these out in a bit. But all of these colors are so pretty, and these greens are legitimately some of my favorite colors. So we'll get to swatching those. So these are, I was interrupted by a child. These are highly pigmented, and you'll see that it says violet here, and that looks very metallic green. You can see that. Oh, am I holding it too high? There we go. This one here is, and that's supposed to be blue, and it looks more of like a reddish black. But when we get to swatching those, you'll see that those are really, really highly pigmented colors. Gonna wait for that. This brush shape. Ooh, I don't actually have this. I use just a lot of watercolor, so I just rinse my brush and reshape it by hand. Like, this is my general brush of choice. Like, I paint almost everything with this. It's a size 18 round, and I mean, for the most part, it holds its shape well. got our little menus. So let's see what is in this. Oops. Right there. So, are the stickers on the paper? They are. Okay, so well, that's pretty. That's really cute. I like that green. I like that it's mostly green. Green is my favorite color. What else have we got here? This is a brush pen. Looks like Pentel. Maybe a blue or a purple color. Sig Clean Color, real brush. Does it say what color it is? It looks like an olive color from the nib. Looks like an olive color. And then, oh, it's the cutest little thing. Look how tiny this paintbrush is. Oh, come on. That is so cute. That's a detail brush. You're not doing large swatches with this. That is so cute, though. Okay, so let's get some of this out of the way, and then we'll get started. Okay, so reading the ArtSnacks menu, it does say the Viviva color sheets are new to ArtSnacks, which means I must have gotten them from another box last time, but I'm so glad that I got them this time. These are a fun little thing to play with. So let's test our brush pen. This is a, what does it say? Pentel Arts Brush Tip Sign Pen. Expect rich color that's fully blendable with water. Depending on pressure, you get fine lines or bold marks. Diluting the tip with water to achieve a value, a range of values. Let's see. It's going to be your standard. It's the, like the hard nib. You can see all that, I think. Can't really tell. So let's put down some color here. And we'll use our tiny brush. A little bit of water. Oh, that's dirty. Okay. My water is already dirty. I haven't even used it yet. That's fine. This brush does not feel like it's picking up water at all. That's a little better. And this is the King Art Premium White Nylon 7950 series brush in a round size 1. I'm used to synthetic brushes, but this, I don't know, doesn't seem like it's holding water the way that I would like it to, but I'm used to using way bigger brushes. It does say that it's designed to hold its shape regardless of the medium you're using, and I mean, I'm seeing that it's bouncing back pretty well. The pen seems to be doing pretty well. Let's actually dip the pen in the water and see what that's doing. Okay, so yeah, definitely getting lighter there. Okay, I don't know that I would use it for that because I don't want to risk damaging the nib. But the lighter tones might blend a little easier maybe, because like you get a lot of hard lines on the paper. Something else you could try doing, I don't have a clean palette at the moment, but you could load your palette with the ink and use it like a watercolor from there. So now we're going to test out the Zig Clean Color Real Brush. This is from Kuretake. It's a water-based ink. It can be blended with water, mixed with watercolor paints. Real brush bristles for broad strokes and fine lines. Whoa, okay, that I don't like. And this is, it doesn't have a color code on the pen. It doesn't look like. Oh, there it is, Smoky Olive, which, I mean, is a nice color. I like it. Let's lay water on the page. I'm gonna get my big brush. We're gonna put water on the page and see if that makes a difference with how this appears. Okay. So you do get more of that watercolor. Like you up here you're getting way more of that dry brush technique because the paper is dry. Down here you're getting a wet on wet, which changes the way the colors look, certainly. That's kind of nice. How fine can we get these on? Okay, those are tiny. I don't even know if you can see those. Can you see those? They're very tiny. But fine lines are good, especially with a color like this, if you're going to be doing trees or like little, little branches in the background on something. That can be really helpful. The dry brush technique, it is good for, like, it adds a lot of texture. And you can see even overlapping it, you get deeper colors, deeper tones. That's nice. You build up those color values in watercolor. That's what I like that. I keep wanting it because it clicks when you open it, but it doesn't make that click sound when you close it. I keep wanting to force it closed. Let's take our little brush here and can we re-wet this? Do we get that harsh line around the edge like we did with the purple? It's less noticeably. You can work that into something a little bit better. There are times where you want a harsh line, and there are times where you want that softer edge. And that is one of the drawbacks I find with working with watercolor pens or pencils, is that you often get that harsh line by having to add water to the medium after the medium has had time to sit on the page. But that gives me an idea. Now that I'm thinking about it, let's go back to this pen for a minute. And if I use my big brush again to add water to the page, oh, that is, I don't like that at all. The nib, look at the whole nib has just changed colors. It's not even like that dark purple that it was when we first opened it. Like the water has just soaked up into the pen. You're not getting any pigment now at all. Find a dry spot. Yeah, okay. So if your paper is wet, this pen is going to suck that water, like the nib's back. That is going to suck the water right up into the nib, and you're not going to be able to lay down any color. So you would have to use this like adding water to it or just diluting the tip a little bit to get those. I don't know that I would use this for watercolor, to be honest. Pen drawings, adding cell shading to a sketch maybe. That could be a lot of fun. But the star of the show has been the Viviva color sheets. This confuses me a little bit. It is exclusive to the ArtSnacks Plus box. It's listed as the Mona Lisa brush shaper. That clearly says Speedball. So I don't know if it's the same thing or if it was replaced with a similar item. I've never heard of Mona Lisa brush shaper, I've never used one. So I don't really, you just clean your brushes, remove all the paint, dipping the bristles then into the brush shaper, reshape by hand, and then let it dry. And your brushes will be good as new, according to the insert. It looks very liquidy. I don't know. In my house, this is going to be spilled everywhere. Let me see if I have. Let me see, what brush could we test this on? Okay, so I have a fan brush here. For the most part, it's still in shape, but the bristles they're not. They've seen better days. So let's try this. It is a clean brush. It is a dry brush. Doesn't need to be wet. It says clean and remove all the paint. Well, this is a clean brush. Let's just get it wet. Kind of dampen it. And you see how they all stick together. So let's see if this, just dip it in there. And brush it back off the sides. I don't know. Maybe this isn't the type of brush for this. Because they're still. I don't know, I need a brush. And you are still getting these random hairs that are sticking out on the side. So let's let this dry. And we'll come back to that and see how that works. Because I spill things a lot in my office. I have tiny humans running around doing the same. So we'll see if that makes it to the general use category or if it stays locked up in a box because I don't want it spilled everywhere. Let's get to swatching. So the good things about the Viviva color sheets as opposed to other watercolor sheets is that because they're in this little book, and you just take your water, you tap it on the corner, and you can actually swatch right there on the color name. Now, I don't think you can buy these individually. I know there are some companies that is a possibility. You can absolutely. Let me start with water. You absolutely can buy them individually. I don't think the Viviva are there yet with the ability to do that. So if you run out of one color that you really like, you do have to buy the whole pack again. So we're gonna swatch on our paper just because I'll go through and fill up the whole book like I usually do, but you also don't want to get the whole book wet right away. And it's got these have these wax sheets to hold between the colors, but in my experience, they can get stuck to the wax sheets if you're not being careful enough. So that was crimson. Here is deep pink. Which is a really beautiful rose color, I think. Blend these out a bit. And there's 16 colors for each of the sets. And they come in this little book. Something I didn't show you. At the back of the book, it's still there. This is a fold-out mixing tray. So you can blend the colors back here. And, like, they're so cute. There's little tiny arrows. Like, you can barely see little tiny arrows there. But you fold that out like a card, and you can mix on the whole thing. So you can have your palette right next to... You can have your palette right next to your colors as you work. And then it all just folds up nice and neat again. So moving on, the next color is vermilion. The one thing I prefer cool colors. So one thing I do wish is that there are quite a few cool colors, but I wish there was more of a balance between the cool and the warm tones. It looks on the color labels here, it looks like there's a good balance. There's about half and half. I'm just picky, I guess. So that was vermilion. This is dusk orange. And this is really pretty color. This reminds me of, I have another watercolor sheet that has a very similar color to this. And it's just a beautiful, like, eggy sunset color. It's a gorgeous color. Next is chrome yellow. Hair on the page. Yellow ochre. This tiny little brush is getting a beating. Let's get a little more pigment in there. Now, I believe Viva color sheets have been around for a really long time. I don't know exactly when. Like, I don't know if there's some information inside the cover. And you do want to make sure that you wash your hands after you're done with them, because you can, the pigments are concentrated, so you can stain your skin. And I think that's any watercolor sheet that you can, that you run that risk of staining just because the pigments are so highly concentrated. This was the burnt umber. And burnt sienna. I feel like I'm having a hard time getting this one up off of the paper though. And some of the colors are like that. When you're trying to get a darker tone off of them, you do end up like scrubbing the paper a lot harder than you would for like a watercolor pan. You scrub the pigment harder. So that was burnt sienna. Those are our warm tones. Moving into our cool tones, we start with light green. And these greens, I think, are my favorite colors from the whole palette. I have the sheets, and this is the palette that I've had forever. And you see, these two greens are my favorites in the whole palette. Some areas are scrubbed where I'm not even convinced there's pigment on the edges of that paper anymore, because I have used them so much. The year that I got these originally, I used them for my Christmas cards, and they were just gorgeous. So that was the light green. Here's your sap green. Viridian. This is one of those unexpected colors, because you look at the sheet and the color is so highly pigmented that looks like an olive. That does not look like it would be anything close to this gorgeous Viridian color. And that's what I mean, like when I say highly pigmented. You see the peacock blue gives off this highly purple black sheen, almost red. And it's extremely, extremely pigmented. You need very little water for some of these. I find the more metallic looking the color, did not clean my brush very well. The more metallic looking the color on the sheet, just the more vibrant and different the color actually is, because those don't even look like the same color. Moving to our next set of colors, again, you get these really, like that violet looks green. It looks green. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous color. And again, the deeper that metallic, the more vibrant that hue is. That was the Persian blue, not Prussian, Persian. This is violet. And again, that looks so green on the color sheet. And it's this gorgeous, gorgeous purple. And some of these tones, you'll notice, like with the cool tones, you actually can get these colors a lot darker, I feel like, than some of the warm tones. And this is another one. That looks brown. But I promise, like, this is almost a violent magenta. Like, that is a gorgeous color. I don't know how they managed, like, that is one of those things that does baffle me about watercolor sheets. I don't pretend to understand how any of that science works. Oh, this brush. I feel like this takes way longer with a tiny brush. Because they just don't hold the same amount of water. I like to be able to see my swatches. And they are getting bigger. The swatches get bigger as you go. And slate black is the last color that they give you. It's one of the, I mean, you don't have a lot of neutrals in the palette. It is a Payne's gray sort of color. It's a cool toned black, not a neutral or a warm black. Oh, what is going on with that color? Okay, I'm gonna check this. Is it dry? It is dry. Okay. I don't know. The bristles feel oily and they don't, I don't know. I'm just gonna keep saying that. Maybe I'll try it with a round brush, something that actually has like a more defined shape. For me, these are the problematic brushes though. They don't ever want to, and like you're still getting like these baby hairs along the edges. So there you have it. 16 very bright, very vivid colors. And let's start with deep pink. abstract portrait done with our Viva color sheets from the May 2022 ArtSnacks box. Thank you so much for joining, and have a wonderful day.